Here I am, Leon C. Before we get into this video, I'm going to go ahead and start as I always do with the emailers who have emailed me with very small, seldom questions that end up being very big conversations. And then we get right into the message that I am getting ready to deliver you, my American family, to strengthen you. As some of you may ask and know and be interested and actually say on your own terms that I am also AKA Morpheus, who delivers the red pill and open up your mind to a different avenue of understanding. And again, we know that's not based on me calling myself that. It's because of viewers like you who decided that for me and my channel. Now, before we get started, again, I'm going to go ahead and answer some of these emailers and create this video to speak to you this way and also to affect all the rest of the other viewers that are on this video. Now, first question was, I guess that's right on topic. How did you, Leon C., become to have the name Morpheus? Okay, let me explain that in maybe as short as possible. It started because as this video, before I began to make these videos, I was a hands-on person, a hands-on man, okay? I've spoken with people already before I began to create this video. I've already had personal contact with people for several years. I've held off making these videos. I did not even, mind you, my American family, you, my wonderful people and family of America, I did not decide to do this. I was against it. Okay, because I'm a naturalist, as you know. Me talking about technology and being simulated with it and using that as another form of our abilities as augmentation. I was against it. So for a long time, I held back. Okay, and I began to talk to several people and actually have actually corporeal display of conversations face to face with people with certain suggestions and questions. So I was advisor, just advising people on good advice, on things that were based on life. Okay. And during one of the conversations I had with someone, he made a joke out of it. He said, "Man, you're like Morpheus. I'm gonna start calling you Morpheus." Okay. And everyone else that began to know me started calling me Morpheus as well. Okay, where I didn't call myself that. It was a joke at first because of how I talk and some of the things that we were able to discuss. But then it got serious to the point where everybody just started calling me Morpheus, okay, on their own. I've always gone by Leon C. because that's my pen name. As the writer, because of the book that I've created down there. And as a writer, I have to be loyal to my followers and those who read my book. And also at the same time, I might be making another book based on all the people who are actually donating or contributing to my PayPal or my GoFundMe, which gives me the power and the energy to be able to keep producing this content for you and for y'all. So that's how Morpheus came to be. Another question. Morpheus, what religion or belief that you are about, according to your videos about religion, since you do not believe in God? I answered this question before, okay, and you probably didn't get it, but I'm going to answer it again, okay? It's not that I don't believe in God. I believe in a God, but it's not the way that we have been taught, okay? We have been taught and misled and deceived on the universal or the public thinking of what God is, or the perception of what God is. I go past the perception. I go past the dogma. I go past what everybody else think, and I go for the facts of reality and logic. Okay? You want to know my religion is the library. That's what my religion is. My religion is logical thinking and simple living. Okay, I don't go by cultification. I don't go by system. I don't go by what everyone else thinks. I go by what I know. I go by what I've studied. I go by reality. So religion is, I open up the window and I throw that out. Okay, when you learn the definition of religion, when you learn how religion is made, when you do your research on what religion does to your mind, when you do your logical thinking on how it prevents you from thinking for yourself or making logical decisions against what's otherwise a falsified rule of thinking. Okay, you begin to realize that it limits you, and I'd rather not live limited. I'd rather live unlimited and be free as I know I am, mentally, physically, and as the person I am for you today. All right, next and last one before we get into the message. Dear Morpheus, how have you gained your clients, and do you have clients according to some of the advice that you give? No, I do not have clients. Okay, this is already a reciprocating door. Okay, all this is people ask questions based on whatever life issue that they may have, and they send it in through email. Okay, when they do that, they also contribute again to my PayPal, or they just donate through GoFundMe. Whereas with their questions, with whatever issues that they may have, I'm able to research it and find it, or most times I already know what the answer is, and I take their voice and their concerns. Okay, and as you know, as they already know why they're doing it, when you hear my voice, you're not hearing my voice, you're hearing their voice. What happens is you have 4 or 5 people who don't want to make this video, or who don't want to voice their opinion, or they may have questions about what they may otherwise think is just about them. Okay, so when they bring it here, I become the amplifier, where I become their voice by not only answering their question, but also broadcasting it where it can actually help other people around the entire country as a unified strength and power based on their concerns as real life people, getting good advice from others and being able to reach other people who cannot get information or proper information and guidance, or just plain advice. All of this advice. So no, I don't have clients. I don't take away from the professionals, like the professional psychologists, the professional doctors, those who are actually in the field, who does that for a living. Okay, no, I don't take from them. Okay, I don't say that I am them. This is just I'm just a simple advice giver, okay, which claims no professionalism, okay, where most of what I talk about can be received as opinion, but Morpheus stays far away from opinion as possible and try to be as accurate with the truth, where you can research, where you can figure it out for yourself. Therefore, it becomes real advice, and it becomes effective for everyone that's actually viewing and receive this. So it doesn't take away from the clients, because most people, they still go to their doctor's appointment, or they go speak to someone else. Okay, they may get a second opinion, or what we talk about and what your concern is just makes you stronger as to what you do and what decisions that you decide to make. So no, I don't have clients, and the people who email me, they're not specific clients. They're just simple people like you and everyone else who just might have a simple question. They donate to the channel to keep it going, and it becomes amplified, and everyone is happy, and they become served. All right, now let's get on with this. Okay, we'll talk about whatever else is in the description box later on in the book that I have available for you, and the music that's also available. That's a little different twist on everything. So you have a lot of things that I'm actually giving to you than I am taking. So it is called The Womb Man. This is a very interesting video, and I'm going to try to make it as small and sweet as possible. This is not an attack on women. Don't get it wrong. This is not an attack on the feminist movement, or whoever calls himself a feminist. This is not an attack on any transgender, because on this channel we do not do hate. We only talk about facts and straightforward reason, that if you have an open mind, you can comprehend that it just plain makes sense. But before we go down there, okay, as you call me Morpheus, I am going to go ahead and deliver this red pill to you. There you go. So I know you want it and you need it, to open up your mind from the blue lifestyle and the blue pill thinking of how you should function and think. Here on this channel, you are free to be human. You are free to be natural. You are free to be empowered. That's why I make this video, to empower you. Okay? You are free to think however that you will. Because however that you think and you expand your horizons, the greater you will become, the more information you can obtain. So you will be excuseless for whatever decisions that you decide to make, because you know better. Okay, or you should. Now, getting on to why I named it Woman. I received the emailer who, again, emailed me about a very big concern that maybe a lot of you. It's going to be a very serious video for some of you. Some of you might laugh and some of you might be like, yep, I've been there and I've done that. Okay. It says here, Dear Morpheus, I was in a confrontation one night during a party for someone's birthday, in which we will not say. While I was there drinking a little, and I was feeling a little tipsy and good. While I was there, there was this girl who wasn't drinking all that much, but she had on feminist on her shirt. Okay? She was a little taller than me, and she looked a lot more rough, so she was probably a stud or some woman who was butch, I suppose. And so she offered to challenge me in arm wrestling to see who was the strongest, because she wanted to prove to everybody who was there at the party that she was just as strong as us males and stronger than me as a female to overtake us. I figured that this was another attack from feminists to try to claim and prove that they are as strong as us men. I decided to walk away, and as you know, they started to call me the P word and a wimp and a faggot for not fighting back or not arm wrestling her. What do you say to this? And help others and explain this to everyone out here in the YouTube world who's listening. What's going on with this? Much love to your book. Keep up the good work, Morpheus. You are rocking greatly. Okay, that was a very long one, and it took me some time to write it because, you know, I'm a naturalist, so paper and pencil is what I do. Okay. But here's the thing. That's a lot. Let's go with the facts first, then I'm going to tell you about reality. Since you have the red pill now, you can't help but just, boom, your eyes come open, okay? There was a story where there was a young man just recently in 2019, somewhere around October, November, where he was a wrestling champ. It was a young man, I don't know, probably age 17, 18, something like that. And he was about to go into the wrestling championship and win the belt. What they decided to do was match this young man up, this young boy up, against this girl for his championship belt as a wrestler. He felt as if, okay, not as if he was being biased towards her. He felt it was against himself and what he believed for them to try to match him up. So he decided to forfeit the match and say, hey, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to do it. I am not going to wrestle this girl because I won't feel good about that. I will not. I can't do that. No. And so he received a lot of backlash for it. He received a lot of negativity for him deciding to make a decision on his home. He has a right to decide if he wants to wrestle or not. He has free will of free speech. Okay. He has a right when he's in front of somebody or a woman and he says, no, I don't want to challenge you or wrestle you. He has the right to walk away. Everybody has the right to walk away. If she wants to challenge you, you can say no. I think he's bigger man than anybody around here in this. I think he's a real big man for that. I think he's very. I was smiling when I read that. When he said that, I was, if he had a channel, I would donate to him. Okay, I would be there. I would, whatever he need, I will be there, because he deserves honor. That's a man of honor. Okay. The interviewer and other interviewers were asking him derogatory questions that had nothing to do with the matter, because obviously it was the opposite sex that was interviewing her. Any other man would have been like, "Yeah, I understand. Yeah, good job. Yeah, don't even get in the ring with that person." Of course, a woman or someone else is going to tell you, "Oh man, you just being sensitive. Oh, you a punk, man. Why you?" No, of course they're going to say that. Okay, because they don't comprehend the dangers that they themselves are producing. It was smart for him not to do it for two reasons, my American family. There's other reasons, but two reasons. One of the reasons is because you don't want to feed the monster. Don't feed the destruction of America. Don't feed into the program of what's destroying families today. And we're going to get into that. I'm going to break it down to it in details, in comprehensive terms of logic. Okay. And for two, women can set themselves up where if he wrestled her and did something that was wrong. And he did say, when you wrestling, I've been in there too, when you wrestling somebody, you can actually touch parts. Okay. Your body part is everywhere. Okay. You're gripping and you pulling. Okay. That's too close to be close to a woman. The only time you're going to be gripping and wrestling with a woman, okay, is in the bedroom. Okay. That's the only time you should be holding on to a woman like that. And you pulling limbs and you grabbing and you all like this. Okay. No, that's bedroom action. That is not to be out there in the public scene, even if she's okay with it. Listen, even a snake will be okay for you to be like this and tell the snake for you to bite it. I mean, it's like, that's just stupid, right? If somebody's trying to hurt you and they put out some spikes on the road because they want your tires to be flattened, of course they're going to say, "Come on, sure, I want you to be, come on over here." Of course they're going to say that. Because the interviewer asked that question. That's specifically what she said. She said, well, the girl was okay with it. Even if she was okay with you wrestling her like that, you still wouldn't do it. It's like, come on. No, it was smart for him not to do it, because a snake knows a snake, but they pretend like they're not snakes. Because if he did wrestle her, okay, and he grabbed her, and he had to grab her to put her down. You have to grab her. You got to grab parts. It's just going to happen. It's going to be some mashing and some mashed potatoes. Okay. And then if she loses and she's mad about her losing the championship, a good 3 or 4 years later, something like that, she'll try to claim that he tried to touch her and grope her during the championship so he can win the championship. You see how they try to turn that around and try to force him to have some type of sexual allegation, when all it was a simple wrestling match. It was smart for him to get out of there. Okay, so honors to him, but that was a very good example, because that is what's happening, my friend. Now we're going to get on to the next thing. Okay, let's see. I had some experiences myself. And let me tell you something about the anatomy of the man is totally different. Okay, but most of you comprehend that anyway, so we're not going to go down there. This is an adult channel. Some of you know that already. Okay. When I was a kid, I would say about 16, 15 years old, there was this, this butch girl, or you could say stud, that wanted to prove that she was stronger than me. Because at that time, I was still practicing my martial arts, and I was in the gym, just, pumping iron, minding my own business, doing what boys usually do, especially when you get ready for wrestling or football. This is simple things, right? So check this out. One day I was coming home from school, and I was walking with a female friend of mine that the stud actually liked at the time. Everybody knew that she was interested in the same sex. Okay. So she wanted to try to bogart while we were talking, while me and this girl minding our own business, and we were just talking, going home from school. And she walked up next to us. And she was like, "Oh, what y'all doing that? Yeah, y'all going home? Oh, y'all, okay, y'all need to be getting on the bus. And what are y'all doing? And blah blah. And I guess you scared. Why don't you hold her hand?" I'm sitting there like, this has nothing to do with you. This is a one-on-one conversation. Where you come from. Now you're interjecting into our conversation. Okay. And she said something like, "Well, maybe I should walk her home because you ain't man enough. You just this little bitty boy. You shouldn't be. Well, I mean, why don't you have a car by now?" Mind you, I'm 15 and 16 years old. I'm still trying to figure out what life was all about. Okay, and trying to be this boy to build up some type of pride of being a man. And here this stud comes along trying to challenge me and tell me that I'm not a man. Okay. So I walk faster, right? I put my hand behind my friend and said, let's get out of here because we don't need to deal with this, to get away from the toxicity, right? Okay. And this stud walks in front of me. Okay. Mind you, if you know my other video, I've had a rough upbringing. Okay. I wasn't brought up in a neighborhood that didn't have any actions. No, it wasn't the hood or the ghetto or some people. I wasn't nothing like that. It's just that it was always conflict every day. It was always a fight. But it was safe. Nobody died. There was no shooting or nothing like that. It was just simple trying to defend yourself normally, as normal humans would do. As teenagers and kids, you're going to fight sometimes, but you're going to get up and wipe your nose and walk away. Okay. So there was always something dramatic that would happen. But make a long story short, she runs up in front and gets in front of my face. Okay. And she's like, "Punk, so I should go ahead and just take this girl away from you. Because, I mean, why are you going to sit up here and try not to talk to me, too? I mean, I know you can, I can be a part of the group, too." I'm like, it's not about not being a part of the group. We're just trying to do something right now. Okay? And we ain't got time for this, so I gotta get going. And she called herself trying to grab me by the lapels, right? And I'm just a 16, 15-year-old boy, right? And she's kind of like a foot taller than me. And of course, a bit wider, because the bigger the person is, they feel like they can bully you because they think they're bigger than you. Even for females, they think when they're bigger than you, they walk around like this, that they can overtake you. I was just a little guy at the time, just a little bitty guy. And she called herself trying to haul off on me. Okay, and we got into it. Okay, we got into it. Now, and you could say, well, were you brought up to beat girls up? No, I wasn't brought up to do that. I was brought up to defend myself. Whether it's girl, boy, whoever conflicts with you and they're wrong about it, they come at you like this, okay, you're going to have to go like this and parry yourself. Because I was the type of boy where I didn't want to end up 6 feet underneath the ground because I decided not to defend myself. Okay, because that's what will happen when you turn the other cheek. Okay, your neck will be broken at the same time. You understand? Sometimes you got to defend yourself. So when I did that, it was a good 5-10 minutes done, and she was done and she was laid out. Okay, so she gets back up. Okay, and she wipes her mouth and then she's like, "Okay, she acting like that. I knew you was a punk." I knew you was your punk. And there was like 2-3 other little girls right there that ended up walking behind her, coming from somewhere. Of course, when people get in a fight, people rummage around and, ooh, what's going on over there? So they practically had to drag her away because now she's trying to keep her face. She's trying to pretend that she's still tough. Okay. And she got like 2 or 3 good punches in. Okay. Like 2 or 3 good punches up here, something like this. So I'm thinking, okay, whatever's whatever, she's a girl at the end of the day. That's going to happen. The next day she didn't show up to school. And I'm thinking, what's going on here, man? I thought she was so tough. I thought she was big and bad. The second day she showed up in school. Okay. And, she had this big purple eye over here. And everybody kept coming to me in the classroom and telling me that, "Oh, remember that girl you got in the fight yesterday? She got a black eye." I'm like, "A black eye? I didn't even do anything." I mean, I didn't put full force into it. I'm just a boy at the time. I was brought up in Christianity. Okay. I was brought up that boys don't fight girls. So I'm just defending myself at the time. I'm just parrying and just, pushing and just a little block here and there, and pop, just a little bit here and there. And I'm thinking the black eye, like, how would this? Of course, I didn't hear nothing about her parents. My parents, my parents knew about it. They just thought it was funny that this girl tried to attack me because it was an everyday thing. We fought every day. It was just normal. Okay, for some of y'all don't think y'all can't comprehend that because y'all always want to kill somebody and get authorities involved. No, for us it was just every day. It was just something that you do, and people lived. Okay, we got up again, brushed it off, and we go, but. When I saw her, she tried to cover up her face because she didn't want nobody to see that she had a black eye. Okay, but I'm thinking to myself, how did that happen? The lesson of this real life experience is this: they still women at the end of the day, and the fact that she had in the black eye, something like that, they ask for something that they really don't want. Okay, and they have such a entitlement lifestyle where they feel as if they can do that, like that wrestler boy, this girl getting in the ring thinking, oh, I'm a wrestler like you, so I'm gonna do it, and they get pumped up. And it's no assault to Ronda Rousey. I like Ronda Rousey. When she first got in the ring, that's my thing. Everybody can't be like her, but could you imagine a whole lot of women that aren't in training, that's just not physically fit and just not capable, thinking that they're Ronda Rousey? And they're not Ronda Rousey, and they get out there and there's it's misconception because the environment. It's because our American toxicity is teaching these girls wrong and giving them a false sense of entitlement that they don't own, because you have to respect nature. And it goes so bad as this. I'm gonna give you another example. I worked for this certain area, and no, I didn't call it in because to me it was every day. It was normal. Like I just said, that's what my life was like. It was always rough. Okay, always something happened. Always somebody getting into it. I worked for this certain job, and in this job, there was two supervisors that were women. One of them was your average weight, average woman, decent weight, short, blonde hair, okay. The other woman was a butch. I mean, she was like taller, like heavy set. She was the guy in the office walking around like this, like, like she was her bodyguard, but she was still a woman, right? This is how bad it is, this is what I'm, listen to me. This is how bad it is, and here's the red pill really gonna hit you, okay? This is on a job. This is 9 to 5. This is a corporate job that I'm talking about, okay? That it's still in my mind today. It's so fresh, okay? I walk into the office. At that time, I was doing contract work in that building, okay, for those particular people. And I had to ask a question about a job that needed to be done. Listen to me. This butch that was in the office was having a bad day. Something was going on in her body. I don't know whether it was menopause or she was on her time of the month. I just simply asked her a question like, how I talk to you is how I talk to her. Like, okay, this needs to be done. Okay, how are we going to do all respects and whatever else, right? She turns around in the office and looks me in my face. And she said, who are you talking to? She said, that other person's not here. I ain't got time right there. Get out of this office or you gonna get your butt kicked. And I was like, what? I was like, excuse me? She said, I ain't got time to talk right now. I don't have time to talk right now. I'm like, I walk out of the office, right? And mind you, at that time, I wasn't trying to get into the legal realm of things and, harassment and all this unnecessary stuff. Because again, I'm used to stuff being rough like that. If she were to try to attack or do something, the way that my life used to be as a child, to me, I would think it's just an everyday thing. Then I have to defend myself again. But once I start walking away, I had to think about it, and it bothered me for a long time. Okay, so I'm able to bring that now to you, and that happened years ago, and now it's playing out here. And it's the same as that wrestler guy who decided not to wrestle that girl. Okay, it's the same as this stud that tried to challenge me while I'm minding my own business, walking with my friend. Okay, where these women get so bold, they are so bold and so full of sense of entitlement, where they can get away with anything and everything, where they can literally come to you men, to your face, and tell you that they can kick your butt. Now, I'm not saying that all of them can't, okay, because some of them can, because there's lots of blue pill sensitive dudes who can be broke like a twig. Anybody can break them. Even the weakest of men can probably break him, okay? But on a general basis, the psychology of it is they feel as if they can be so aggressive with you that they can harass you, that they can grab you, that they can pull you, that they can attack you. But you as a man, if you decide to attack them, or if you came at them the same way, they'll throw you underneath the prison and treat you as if you're mud, as if you're filth, as if you're the worst dog on the face of the planet. Okay? And it's getting worse because they're starting to do that, where even now they're trying to paint themselves into the scene of the man's breeches, or of the man's lifestyle. Okay? I had I used to hang out with somebody who had who was an affiliate, or shall I say, who was a girlfriend of an all-girls basketball team, who would actually go and play basketball every weekend. Okay? And I was, I think, 19 or 20 at that time. And when I was looking at these girls, I'm like, these aren't girls, these are boys. I mean, they look all, tall, and they got a little muscle and stuff like that. I'm like, what's going on here? Like this, I was like, what's that? And I had a hard time trying to figure it out. Okay, so a lot of these kids nowadays, they think it's normal. For me, it wasn't normal. I'm looking at this like, girls aren't supposed to do that. They're not supposed to look like that. But make a long story short, I was walking through the hallway to get some water. This girl was about 25 or something years old, like taller than me. Okay, I'm just, again, I was like, I think 19, just 19, 20. She's like 25, 26, something like that. But she was taller, and just got done playing basketball, so she had to go get some water also. Okay, so she was walking down the hallway. We didn't see each other, but the faucet was sitting there, right? And I stood here and I stopped to look to see where the faucet was, and I just stood still to look at the faucet. She was coming this way at me, okay? And we collided, right? But she fell. Boom. And I'm still standing there. I'm trying to figure out what hit me. I just, boom, just hit me. I'm like, what? And she was laid out on the floor. Of course, she had to get. I was like, what happened? She said, oh, I'm sorry. I did. We just ran into each other. It's just like that capacity and gravity. Okay, this girl's bigger than me, so how's that possible? Just gravity and physics. How does that work? But I had to do my studies now, of course, as to the days afterwards. That now that we're able to present it today, is that there's a big difference. There's a difference between woman and man. There's a difference between the both of them, and they can't do that. It don't work like that. And when you put both of them on the scene, someone has a higher density. Okay, the male usually have a higher density, has a higher bone mass, has a higher capability. They're built for roughness. They're built for the higher aspirations of what the physical world is. When a woman decides to try to take on a man's task, usually, again, like I told you before, that decrease her estrogen, it decreased the feminine part of herself, where it's like this. You don't see women who make homes, who have 3 kids, and who got a nice waist, who has, decent bosom, and her face looks like she's a 19-year-old, but she's 27. You don't see that. But yet she's out there playing basketball and she's doing boxing and stuff like that. Usually when you see a woman who is physically active and she's doing heavy things and she's trying to do bodybuilding, she's doing football, or just rough things that boys usually do. Usually when you do that, her womanhood is decreased. You know, her breast, which is usually out there, is a little bit smaller, like here, and her waist isn't like this. It's usually more, it's more taut, okay? And her jawline, which is usually on the female body, which would be oval, it's expanded a little more, like she's like Butch, you know, she's a guy, because her chemistry changes to fit her situation, okay? That's what I'm saying. So it's not that they can't do it. They have to mutate in order to do what men do. Same as some men, they don't have to necessarily mutate. They just decrease their testosterone, their bone density, and their structure becomes softer in order to take on what women are capable of doing. So therefore, it becomes a criminal, not criminal, but it becomes a chemical issue. I had to put my hat on because it started getting cold. Started rubbing my nose because like the air was kind of coming in here, so I had to pause for a minute to get back at it. So it becomes a chemical issue that we have to respect. Now, here's the reality of it is, and again, it's not an attack on women, and it definitely is an attack on men who worship women. You know, you blue pill beta dudes who, oh no, man, I don't know what you're talking about, man. My sister can play basketball. You, man, I'll get my big sister on you, man. She'll take you down. No, we don't need, no. Well, what Morpheus is saying is this for my emailer to give to you, my American people, to empower you, is this. It's better to not get engaged for safety reasons, because even if we can tussle with each other, okay? Even if I can get in the boxing ring with Ronda Rousey, even if all that can be possible, okay? Which boxing is kind of different. It's not like you're wrestling, okay? But let's just stick with wrestling where you have to really get close to the person and you really grab them, okay? When it comes to situations like that, okay? You put yourself in a jeopardizable situation, whereas women here in America have the potential to actually lie and say that you have sexually harassed her and you did not. Okay, they will use that card out of animosity because it has happened plenty times before. If she's mad that she loses the match, if she's mad that you didn't want to date her or something like that, if she's mad that whatever's happening, because usually a lot of women, if something's going on at home, if something's not right between herself and her boyfriend, if her world is upside down, when she comes to you, most times they'll bring that as well. Okay, they'll bring their attitude and their problems from home and blame you for their personal issues. So therefore, when you're in that atmosphere with them, okay, they will use you as a punching bag. So it's best to stay away from it. Like that lady in the office. She didn't have to come at me like that. She did not have to say that. She was utterly out of place. She could have got fired. Okay. She could have got sued. All kind of things should have and could have happened. Okay. But she decided to do that based on her emotions and her feelings at home. Where, listen, there was no logic to her thinking. All she did was felt. She just felt the situation. That's all she did, was just felt the situation. She felt bad about what was going on at home. So she wanted to feel that same toxic situation on her job. So therefore, here come an alpha dude or an alpha man coming to the scene, okay, because of her mentality based on her anatomy and her thinking of just saying, oh, I'm a woman, I don't need a man, I don't like men, I hate men, and I'm bitter about men, or I got my heart broken about men. So I come onto the scene, okay, being this alpha dude that's probably just as similar, because I'm just a man generally, and her hating men did not do nothing but add a cherry on top of her hatred, on top of her pie. So she could not help but just explode and just come out, oh, I'm gonna kick your butt. That's why I was sitting there like, what? Like, what? Like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm like, what? You know, so men, it's like this. It's not personal. What I mean is this. It's not personal because you did not make her angry. You wasn't her husband. You wasn't her boyfriend. You wasn't the one that made her mad when she left the house or wherever she came from. But if you put yourself in the position where you want to wrestle with her, you want to play basketball with her, you want to arm wrestle with her, you want to do whatever that you want to be entangled with her, it's best not to, don't be entangled with the snake, because the snake will spit poison and venom on you whenever it gets upset. Okay? Men have been known to be destroyed by women since the beginning of time. And it's not for every woman. Some women, when y'all watching this, for the women who are watching this and probably shaking their head like, it may not be for you. It may not be you who's doing this. Okay? It may not be you who's trying to challenge your husband and your boyfriend to a game of rugby. Rugby is a rough sport. It may not be you. Okay? What I'm saying is, Morpheus is saying that against even you women, there are other women out there who are making it bad for you because they are trying to attack and challenge men. You get that? That's just like us alpha red pill dudes, okay? And MGTOW. That's just like us doing our thing. We don't pay for dates. We ain't gonna waste our time with you. Okay, we ain't gonna ask you to marry us. We ain't gonna spend no longer than an hour with you at tops or the most. Okay, little time as possible. We ain't gonna waste we're not out there praising you. We're not out there trying to open up every door and throw down the carpets and be like, oh, you're my princess, and get on one knee and, oh, if I can just be with you. We're not doing that. But what makes it bad for us men is beta blue pill guys who is actually out there, man, I'm gonna open up the door for this girl, man. She's fine as hell, dude. Look at that. Oh, man. Praising you, putting you on a pedestal. You tell him to go outside and wash your car, he'll do it in 10 minutes. Oh, I need some money because I want to get some shoes, and he'll just go do it. The guys that you don't respect. So they make it hard for us, because usually those girls are you girls who dump those blue pill beta guys, end up coming around wanting the real dude, wanting the red pill, wanting the alpha guy. Okay? But because you're so used to dealing with this child of a boy, okay, when you run across the man, okay, we got to clean up their mess, or we got to deal with how they have deceived these girls, or some of you women, into thinking that y'all have false sense of entitlement. So we have our struggle as well. So the same as y'all, the women who are trying to produce and do what you can, which may be an exception to the rule, y'all suffering because there are some women out there who is trying to change the game. It's going to cause the ceiling to fall down on you. All of you are underneath this tent, okay? But there are some women out there that's shaking that pole, and they don't need to. And when the ceiling falls, it's going to fall on all of you. It's going to fall on all of you. So it's not an individual thing. We suffer because of what somebody else is doing. You see, just like this gentleman right here, I've been through the same thing that he's going through. He was smart enough to walk away from the situation, just like I was smart enough to just walk away from the situation. But it's at a time where we're having troubles walking away from, because eventually, just like that stud tried to attack me, just like on the job, this lady that's supposed to be a professional, supposed to be a supervisor, supposed to be in a position of great responsibility, told me she was going to kick my butt right there in the middle of the office. That goes above and beyond. That's above and beyond. Now it's becoming assault. Listen, ladies, it's an assault on men. It's an assault on masculinity. It's an assault on men who have nothing to do with you and your day. Men who are minding their own business are being assaulted just for being a man. So we have to learn how to just separate ourselves. And so because of them, because of those girls who are making it bad for you and poisonous, okay, men have to separate themselves, because a snake is a snake. And it becomes a liability for everyone. You see? Because we are forgetting here in this American construct that there's man and there's woman. Or you could say there's girl, there's boy, and it's supposed to be It's supposed to be equal already based on just nature itself, not based on how much you get paid, not based on what you do, not based on whatever. Because if there was a such thing as equality, okay, there's not a lot of equality when it comes to the feminist movement and the woman construct themselves, because they're causing an unbalance. Okay, they're causing an unbalance, and it doesn't help men out. It just helps women. It just supports them. Because if it was a female or a woman who was in that office, and I was a supervisor, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna kick your butt," what would that sound like? What would that sound like? Me being the dude or the boss of that organization or the supervisor, and a girl walks in there just to simply ask me a question, and I say something like, "Who you talking to? Yo, get out of here, or I'm gonna kick your butt, or I'm gonna beat your..." Really? What would that sound like? That would be very disturbing, right? I mean, some of y'all would be like, "What? Hey, what's going on?" What if we were walking? What if it was two girls walking? Okay, and it was a guy that did. He walked around and got in her face. "Well, I'm gonna take her home." "What do you? I'm gonna take her home. You know, move aside. You ain't no woman, but you know, this is a man's thing. It's a man's position." And then get into a scuffle with her, right? It'd be all kind of danger, be all kind of harassment, be all kind of, "Oh, he's a bastard, he's evil." But when y'all do it, it's okay. It's fine. You know, it's normal, right? It's okay. I'm going to end this video because I got to make another one anyway. And that should explain just a little bit of why it's smart to just detach yourself. There's no need to try to challenge against the woman, okay, to any degree, because it can always turn around for the worst. Because we're dealing with here in America is girls are women, okay, who don't know their footing, and they're more destructive and dangerous than anything. So it's like playing with fire. It's best just not be involved at all. Okay, if I could have avoided those situations I was in as a child, I would have. But you notice, I tried to, but I was being assaulted. And it's not limited to me, because they're doing that now in a different way. If you think about it psychologically, that boy who was wrestling and that girl came, that technically is an assault on him and his manhood. Because he has standards and he has a belief system that he had to stand by. And because he decided to walk away, everybody was calling him all kind of weaklings and sensitive and all kind of negative things, just for doing the right thing, for walking away. That's the assault. And I guarantee you it might not end there, because if you watch the news, women are now doing the assaulting. Women are and have been beaten on men for many years. It's just men don't say nothing, okay? Because they realize that if they call their big brother, that is the state and the government and everybody like that, okay, that usually the man's going to be in trouble and the woman will be okay, unless she's really proven to be, you know, psycho, out of her mind, and she actually has the butcher knife in her hand or something like that. Because there's cases that they do end up getting in trouble. But on a general basis, because the stigma and the perception of the American people, which a lot of us are starting to wake up now, thanks be to God, some of us are waking up. That is our all maker. The universe is waking everybody up, okay? That's starting to change now. And who's going to lose in the end is not the man, because the man we're still doing what we was doing since day one. we're still doing what we've been doing since day one. But who's changing, okay, is the opposite sex, because a lot of women are becoming bored with their life. They're becoming bored with being women. They're becoming bored with being homemakers, home supporters, home providers. Now they want to destroy the home, and they want to challenge this man who's not even trying to challenge her. So it's assault. Simple, plain and simple. All we can do, okay, walk away. This is Leon C. Like it, share it, and subscribe it. You got my book down there. And know the reason why America needs to rise, or are we going to die on the inside? Slowly but surely